Have you ever had the thought that maybe you should raise your prices? Or maybe you've felt that you deserve to be paid more than what you're currently earning, whether it's from a client, an employer, or receiving from the universe in any particular way. This is the subject of today's podcast. Welcome to the High Performance Consciousness Podcast. My name is Matthew Paddy, and again, I will be your host for today's episode, where we will be talking about and going deeper into the topic of self-worth and raising your prices. So this is something that you may have questioned internally or even expressed out loud to others, that how can I charge my worth? How can I increase what I feel I deserve to be paid for an exchange of service or the value that I bring to a certain environment or certain niche? So if you're in business, then let's grab a pen and paper, and you might want to take some notes for this one. So let's put it down to this. What you are receiving right now by way of your financial transactions, not talking about the money in the bank, money in the savings, money in investments. I'm talking about a direct exchange of value for services rendered. So what you're experiencing right now, again, are the sum total of your thoughts, actions, and feelings resulting in the now moment. So everything that you've thought, acted upon, and felt about yourself to be true from the past is coalescing and finding itself as your reward, as your exchange of value right now. Now, if that's a hard pill to swallow and you're thinking, well, I want to increase my income, I want to increase my revenue, I want to increase my savings, whatever it may be, but I don't know how to do that. And the moment I think about it, I actually start feeling guilty. Does that ring true for you or maybe someone close to you? So I have a desire to be paid more for my services, and yet I feel guilty about the thought of raising my prices because I'm not confident that I'm worth it, or I'm not confident that other people will pay it, or I'm not confident that I can deliver the exponential value that I believe is required in order to ask for the increase. Either of these questions, any of these questions relate? I'm sure they do. So these are some of the questions that I asked very early on in my career, my entrepreneurial journey. How can I add more value in the services that I offer? How can I be the best at what I do and deliver exceptional service to other people so that they get what they want, and in return, I receive what I want? That's the biggest question. How can I exponentially increase my self-worth? Well, let's think about it for a moment. That, as I said at the beginning of this podcast, that everything you are experiencing right now financially is the sum total of previous thoughts, actions, and feelings. Ideally, everything that you are experiencing right now is your past. So in order to change your past and to live a different future reality, experience a new financial reality, a new revenue reality, you must change the way that you observe, engage, think, feel, and act upon the impulses of the desires you want. So, having said this many times in previous podcasts, that you do not get what you want, you get what you are. Let that sit for a moment. You do not get what you want. You get what you are, which means what you are is who you are being, and who you are being is the sum total of your thoughts, actions, and feelings in this moment. And so that creates a tabulation. It creates a signal, a signature, an energetic vibration that is emitted from you into the field. So in order to raise your fees, do you need to do anything extra exceptional than what you're already doing? Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe you do not need to increase your delivery and the over delivery on the exaggerated expectations of your clients, if I can get that word out. Maybe you need to over-deliver on your idea and concept of self. Because to raise your price from $1,000 to $2,000 is a decision. That's all that it is. Now, if raising your fee from $1,000 to $2,000 is a decision that you can support through new thinking, new action, and new feeling, then you are impressing a new reality on the substance of your subconscious mind. And in doing so, you then broadcast a new signature. It must be followed. It must be followed up. So you can think all day long about raising your fees 100% from 1,000 to 2,000. You can feel it and go, I can really feel this. It feels magical. And yet in the next conversation you have with a prospect or someone that is either working with you or for you or whatever it may be, you then deny that capacity to share that new vision of your financial reality by way of saying, my fee is $2,000. Then you are shortcutting the process and you are ripping yourself off. You are essentially pulling the rug out from underneath your own feet. So your self-worth, again, is the sum total of your environments previous to this moment. So if you have been operating or living in an environment that feels like it does not support you, then the encouragement here is to find an environment that does support the new idea you have of yourself. It means being around people that have a language that is supportive and aligned with the vibration of your new concept of self. So self-worth is not something that is inserted in us, that we are born with. It is something that we have acquired as a concept over time. So some people it would appear that some people have greater levels of self-worth than others. Would it not? Have a look at their environment. And this is not for judgment. This is not saying, well, they're better than others, or that their environment was better than others, therefore shame on you, or guilt, or those sort of things, and the blame game starts to kick in. I want you to step back and to be the observer. And as you observe, you insert your awareness. The awareness is essentially saying that I can see that where I have come from, the environment in which I have invested, spent, occupied for most of my life or a portion of my life has equaled and supported the results I'm currently receiving. Does that make sense? So in order to change your reality, you must change your environment. The best place to do that, first and foremost, is internally. And I've said this repeatedly throughout all of the episodes, coming up now to episode 49. You must change your internal environment, which means how you think about yourself and what you think is possible for yourself, how you feel about yourself and how you feel about what is possible for you, and how you then go about acting upon those new thoughts and new feelings. Because the body as the subconscious mind is the magnetic principle. So therefore, if I am unwilling to change my internal environment and expect my external environment to change, then you are living in delusion. You are living in a fantastical realm that maybe you were called, or it was referred to in your earlier years as pie in the sky, or living with your head in the clouds. Ideas, dreams do come true. They come true because there is an investment, an inconsiderable and sizable investment in that dream and in making that dream a reality. Because the body and the neurology, the wiring within our DNA does not judge what it is being fed. So if your internal environment is being restabilized, reorganized, restructured to match that of your desired future, then by nature of your biology, it must evolve to match that which you are seeking. Make sense? So to raise your self-worth, go and investigate people, courses, books, videos, whatever it may be, that have the substance and the know-how for you to get ideas from. This podcast is one of them. So in order to raise your self-worth, you must make the decision to do so. You must make a decision in order to change. Without a decision to change, nothing changes. And so your burning desire, going back to the previous example of raising your fee from $1,000 to $2,000, is a decision. And it's a change that you are committed to making. And as I mentioned as well, in that example, if you are not following through and backing yourself, energetically backing yourself up by sharing your decision through aligned action with the field, maybe it's the next conversation with the prospect, maybe it's the next conversation with the employer, maybe it's the next conversation with the household, whatever it may be. Unless you are prepared to change it, nothing changes. So, self-worth is self-wealth. So the concept, and this goes back to a previous episode about creating wealth, that there is a concept of self that yields and produces the external results. So if you have a concept of self that is higher, abundant, wealthier, more affluent, more harmonious, more joyful, then that is what you are. And you live with that. You live as that. Remember, you do not get what you want, you get what you are. And what you are is who you are being. And who you are being is what you think, how you act, and how you feel. That's as simple as it. And if you can triangulate those three things together, and you can rinse and repeat and remind yourself through guided visualization and daily repetition, then by nature of the quantum field and the laws of the universe, you must receive in kind. You must receive through the law of correspondence, match for match, a corresponding outcome. Are you getting it? I hope you are. So raising your prices, charging what you're worth, get paid what you're worth. How do you determine what you are worth? You make a decision. Now, going back to the previous example, let's say that you're currently at $1,000 and you want to go, well, I'm going to now charge $100,000. That is a sizable leap in the conscious mind. You can get excited about it. You can get super inspired. You can get pumped through motivational chemistry, but it's going to get burnt off. And you know why? It's going to get burnt off because there is not a deep, stable belief that that is sustainable and possible for you. Now, 1 out of 100 people, maybe 1 out of 1,000, maybe 1 out of 1,000,000 will be able to make that jump from $1,000 to $100,000 per session or per client, whatever it may be. Do it in incremental stages. Give your subconscious and yourself a new opportunity by scaling up your desires. This is one of the biggest fall downs and biggest disappointments that I see people from all walks of life face. I go for the big, grandiose ideas and I fail to receive them and experiencing them because while I'm waiting the month, the year, the decade, I'm secretly undermining it through disbelief. It's not going to happen. It hasn't arrived yet. It's not for me. I'm seeing evidence of my external environment pulling me back into the old. Maybe I can go from 1,000 to 1,200. That's cool. 1,000 to 2,000, that's a 100% jump. That is entirely possible. Going from 1,000 to 10,000, entirely possible. Everything is possible based on and baked within the level and strength of your belief. The belief and conviction that what you think is true, what passes this new truth as belief into your subconscious is faith. Faith that it will produce a result. And guess what faith is? Faith is a belief in something greater than the self. a belief, something greater than the self, which is your higher capacity, your greater potential, the quantum field, whatever you want to call it. So you are essentially handing over not responsibility, but you're handing over a lot of the heavy lifting on how it shows up out of the unknown, because you are letting go of the old concept of self. You are letting go of it, and you are no longer firing and wiring that process, that network that keeps you attached and experiencing the same result as you've always had, and therefore the predictability of that as your new future. Well, as a predictable future. Let's put it that way. So self-worth is an inner conversation. Self-worth is an inner concept. Self-worth is an inner ideal. It is not outside. And it is one of the hardest concepts, one of the hardest changes to make or upgrades to install in your operating system, because we look to social media for validation. We look to friends, family, and fools, the 3 Fs, for validation. Am I doing it right? Am I on the right track? If I do this, am I going to be loved? If I don't do this, am I going to be loved? Yada, yada, yada. See where I'm going with it? So self-worth is an inner conversation. It's an inner dialogue, which means it is you. It's all you, baby. You make that decision. Your decision to go from 1,000 to 2,000 in the example is based on your desire. Now, the desire might be, well, if I'm currently seeing 5 clients a month or week or whatever it may be, then that's going to double my income, which means I can then pay bills more easily, or it means that I can save and contribute more to holidays or paying down debt or whatever it's going to be. There is a reason behind the decision. And it doesn't have to be a reason that anyone else agrees with. That's the thing. If you can construct it in a way, in your mind, with as much clarity, then the reason is within the clarity. You do not need clarity or confirmation from the external world. It's one of the hardest games to play at the beginning. And I promise you, if you commit to the process, and practice makes permanent, repetition every single day, regardless of what you see coalescing as facts in your outside world, then you will encounter your preferred reality. Your future preferred reality will find you. Not said in a spooky voice, I will find you. Well, I don't know whether that was spooky, but you know what I mean. It's not saying I'm going to sneak up on you and surprise you in a not so cool way. It's actually going to find you because of who you are. Who you are. So self-worth and self-wealth are connected. You make a decision, and there is a reason for your decision. And you build a support network within yourself first. And within the support network, out picturing from that and projected outside of you will be a change of the guard. Those people outside of you, some that have supported you, some that say whatever you're going to go for, you can achieve. That's amazing. Just put your mind to it and enroll yourself in it. They're keepers. Other people may not see your vision. They might not want the same reality as you. They secretly, in the denial of yours and the denial of your potential or your ability to experience and achieve your potential, is secretly the denial of their own. That is where compassion comes in. Compassion for those who cannot see what you can see for themselves. It's a big shift, right? So now I am no longer in the victim matrix. I've escaped and transcended the victim matrix. So there is not the savior, there is not the victim, and there is not the persecutor. Compassion rises above the folly, above the fog, above the mist of drama and trauma. Those people that cannot see more for themselves like you can see for yourself deserve compassion and deserve some leeway. And maybe that's part of why you're here. Maybe that's part of your mission, part of your purpose, to help others see what is possible for them outside of the confines of their own mind jail. So I'll leave you with that. I hope it sparks some really interesting thoughts and some inspirational feelings for you. So from me here to wherever you are in the world, dream a better dream. And remember, it's all you, baby. See you in the field.